I want to ask one more question, and I want to see if anybody's online asking questions.
Okay.
Pro-cop or anti-cop? Because the protesters are completely anti-cop. And I heard you say something about some cops, and you might have a testimony if you like sharing it.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to say I'm pro-cop, honey, because first of all, if somebody, I will call the police in a heartbeat if somebody, okay? Because I'm not trying to go to jail. I've been there, and that is not the place you want to be in, especially now. My thing, and I say with COVID, but it's like I've been a germaphobe, so like this is nothing for me. But like y'all just now washing your hands this many times a day, like bro, I've been rinsing my meat and veggies. Like, what are you talking about? What? And what's with the toilet paper on the shortage? We'll get back to that. I'm not gonna go there. But I say that to say that no, I'm not a snitch, and I say that in my community, a snitch is somebody that is a private or a secret informant, where they are working with the police to tell on whoever's out there selling dope or whatever have you, whatnot, right? That's not my job as an officer. I personally desire to be an investigator myself, because honey, my ex-husband will tell you I will investigate some stuff. Now, if you want an investigator on your hands, that would be me. But these people, I say these people like they're different, or like they're hybrids of the breed of human, like avatars or something. They're police officers. And sometimes, and don't get it twisted, because I've had to remind some officers about themselves as far as, like, you are just human, just like me, However, I acknowledge the authority position that you have because you have not abused it with me. Does that make sense? So that means that when you are a person of authority, you have to conduct yourself completely different. And it sucks, but it's the reality of how psychology works with the brain. Now, I know that I'm about 5'9", maybe about 100 pounds wet on a good day, right? I can't get up and go, me screaming and acting loud and boisterous and aggressive could intimidate somebody who's an introvert, who doesn't have the slightest clue as to what's going on. And not to say they're scary, but I'm doing the most, right? So now we have police, right, an officer that has this authority position that is trying to display, like, hey, look, I'm in power. I need you to respect that so I don't have to use it. Then you have with the shootings, because that's what this is about too, the people that have been shot wronglessly. You have an officer that has authority that is misusing that, right? So I'm always going to be pro-cop. I have a friend of mine, and I call him a friend. He's my buddy, my comrade, my everything. He's been, and now that I think about it, he feels more, and him and his family, right, feel more like family to me in such a short amount of time than my family sometimes. And I'm going to say why, because Officer Burlett has put he found that common with me. And not only that, but he's never misused his authority and his power. And he's always respected me as a woman, not a black woman, not a drug addict, not a felon, but a woman who needs help. And not even that, because oftentimes we get caught up about the sex, the color, the dollar. And it's not even about that. When I have a lot of environmentally conduced mental health struggles, right? God has blessed me and I have overcome, but I struggle with anxiety and I struggle with PTSD. And anybody that doesn't know what having chronic anxiety is like, or PTSD so severe where the psychologist says that it's on a level of a vet being released home from a war. That's my everyday life. And when this whole COVID-19 hit, I had lost my job, and I was like, okay, look, Berlin, did you hear what's going down? Are you watching the news? Because they finna shut the whole city down. They come in with the Navy SEALs. Look, they finna martial laws. Look, what we gonna do? Because I can't go buy a firearm, And he was like, look, Ray, he laughed. He said, if that happens, I promise you I got you. I said, okay, cool. He said, if that happens, I got your back 110 full. I'll stand right there with you with my firearm and help you out. And I said, okay. So, it got a little heated when, they started shutting down the states and not allowing people in or out. I said, now we're getting close, Bertlet. You still got my back because I'm going to have to call on you. You know what I'm saying? Don't leave me in here. And the day hasn't come yet that he turned his back on me. And knowing that he was able to come to my house and bring me a food box, and they were the best organic vegetarian refried beans ever. I think they were made with black beans. They were bomb, and they came in a can. But I didn't have any food at the time, and he came and brought me some. And I had been struggling with, we're keeping it real, right? I had been struggling with my disease of addiction. And I just need a second.
All right.
I have been struggling with heroin and methamphetamine. And my son had ran away and had been actively gangbanging to the point where, he had turned on me. I remember him saying, what can I do to help you? I felt as though there is no help for me. Just go live your life. You don't know what this is like. Why do you give it? Why do you care? And I don't have nothing for you. I can't do nothing, and I might not even be anybody one day. He believed in me. He was like, no, don't talk like that. You are somebody, and you're gonna be somebody. And when you're at your best, you're unstoppable. And I want to see you at your best. So what can I do? And I started with a list of things that I needed, right? And I said, well, I need the NA book to recovery, the step working book. If I had that and I could work on that it kind of helped keep my mind occupied. And I said, but I have my kid, my son, my 10-year-old, and I need to know that he's going to be okay. My dog needs to be fed, and and he was like, and I said, I really want to go to detox, but the first time I went to detox, I left because I was in intensive care watch. My detox had got to that extent of where they needed the actual hospital to support me or to watch me so closely because it could take a turn for the worst. And so I got frustrated and left, and then I went back again, and I got kicked out, and I went back again, and I just finally said, I can just do this if I just put my mind to it. He didn't enable me. He knew exactly how to maintain a level of professionalism and respect and still help me, and I was calling up, hey, I'm going to call your son and see if he wants to go. Can I box with him, in the morning time and help him? Because my son is he's on the heavier side. We're all built like that. And he's a fine young boy. And he took the time out to, extend to go take him boxing in the morning. Because he's a UFC fighter or something like that. I mean, the ones that be doing that cage stuff and all that. And he wanted to take time out to do that with my son. And didn't ask for $1. Didn't ask for me to go. Didn't advise me to go sign him up for a program. Didn't advise for me to go or tell me, oh yeah, well, you just go do it, just go get clean, and maybe your kids can go with whoever at the time, or oh, you just told me that you're struggling with alcohol and drugs, so let me call CPS. He didn't do that. What he did was he rolled up his sleeves, he cuffed up his pants, and he got in there and he helped me. And the first day he came to my house, I met him. I was helping a young girl that came to my house. She was underage, and she was with a man that was older. Getting high, and she was doing the lying of her age and all that. When she disclosed how young she was, when I seen the officer come to my house, I said, oh, that was anti-police, right? Attitude, as in, oh God, what are the police here for? What do they want? And so he came, asked a couple questions if she was all right. He seen that she was fine. They advocated for her to stay with. She wanted to stay with me, advocated for that. That happened, and then some things shifted where she ended up leaving. But the second he would pop up at my house now, random days, times, and hours, not ungodly hours, but colored people time, as they say. We like to sleep in until about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, he would pop up like 9, 10 o'clock, or hey, I'm in the area, and that in the area to me means about an hour, 2 hours out. In the area to him means like I'm all right. I'll be there in about 5, 10 minutes. and show up on time. So I was like, okay, yeah. But it felt good that every time he came, my house was in order. There was, drugs all over the place, the kids unkept and all that. They were taken care of. But the main thing that got me, twice he came, and some other officers came. I'm going to tell you that one after this, because that one's a good one too when my son ran away. But he came off duty. That means that he had clocked off, you guys. Not on the clock, getting paid. Him and his wife and his daughter came. They came to my house just to follow up and check on us to see how we were doing, bringing gifts. They didn't ask for any of it back. They didn't leave everything was brand new. And it wasn't like they made a deal of how much they had gave and invested into our lives as far as wanting to see the best, and that right there, if that would have been $1,000 worth of gifts at that moment, it was $1 million and plus sum of the gesture, because they came through without me having to ask for it, or her, or my kids. They came through on a common level. Like, it wasn't like I didn't have any furniture in my house at the time. We were sitting on the floor, like in the felony flats at that, right? So I was right there on 72nd and Flayville, and my dog jumped and ran and jumped, and his wife's beautiful woman came in with a beautiful little girl. They came in, and it wasn't like they were acting bougie, like they couldn't sit down. Like, they came in and sat down and copped a squat with us. And that right there meant more to me than anything, because you get some people that would turn their nose up or look like, oh no, and here they are, like, my brothers and sisters, and I could tell that they didn't see color. And I could tell that at that point I didn't see color either, or his badge. It didn't matter to me. He didn't have it on. And the times that he came to my house to check up on me, to see how I was doing, he never once came in his uniform. He never once came on a day that he was working. And that means more to me than life itself, because I thought about if I could just take enough heroin and fill it up in a syringe and just shoot it, I'll go to sleep and it'll be a smooth ride that I never felt before, and I just won't wake up. But it wasn't until he said that you are not a disappointment to your grandmother, you are not a disappointment to your kids, that they do love you, and you are a darn good parent, and you will be that motivational speaker. You will have your nonprofit one day. You will become somebody, and you will find another job. Like, this is not the end of the world, Raeona, but you got to have a little faith yourself. And I said, well, thank God. God said the faith of a mustard seed, because mine is just that much right now. And there was a time where my son had ran away, and he ran away to his dad's house. And I was terrified. I didn't know where this boy was. And if you ever had a child, you ever been somewhere out and about, like at a parade or something, and you lose a child? I mean, kids, yes. I mean, I frown upon the kid leashes that I see people with. It's just not my thing. But if I had one for this boy that was like stainless steel and unbreakable, I would probably get one. But I was scared and terrified, and I didn't know what to do. And I knew that I couldn't go to the streets and handle it, because that would only wreak havoc for me, and it wouldn't bring him back home. But there were times where I was knocking on doors, coming in, but I'm busting down doors for my son. And these officers, it was about, I can't even count. I think about at least 5 of them, 5 to 7 officers that came into my one little felony flat apartment. And I was like tired. I was ready to go to sleep. And I remember they were like, nope, we're coming in, we're setting up shop. And I'm like, setting up what? Now,
It just sounds weird.
I know the boy is missing. Yeah. I'm like, now, wait a minute. Now, look, I tried to do it all, respectful. I said, so I'm just going to go in here and put my pajamas on. But yeah, the door's unlocked. And they're like, oh, yeah, thank you, Ms. Coleman. We're going to go ahead and set up the things here and the computer here. And they got one on the phone and one on the computer and a whole other laptop there. And they got waves and radios. And next thing you know, I'm looking at my son and the dog, and they're looking at me, and I'm looking at them. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm just going to sleep here tonight then. So I went in the back, got dressed in my pajamas, and sat there, and I was falling asleep. And before you know it, they had eyes on my son. They had the helicopters around where he was. They had the dogs. I mean, everything, the whole 9. And that was impressive. You guys, if you actually sit back and get your biased opinions and put them to the side and watch how these people work when they're working for you, it was like I hired the best law firm or investigators to come find my baby that money could buy. And it was for free. And you know why I use that analogy? Because they get paid for their job, but you can never get paid enough when you're putting your life on the line for somebody that you don't know. And I have to say that again because you guys, they're putting their life on the line for someone they don't know, which means that there's not that immediate connection. There's not that, okay, that's my brother, that's my sister, that's my uncle, that's my, you know what I'm saying? It's different when you're going to go look for your child and that's your child. It's really different when it ain't yours. And I'm keeping it real. There's, you know, when you got our black community in one area and you got one kid showing up to school with holes in their shoes and the one got the latest Jordans on, you think that mom finna go, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna do an act of kindness and not put it on Facebook, but just do it and buy a cheaper pair of shoes for you and buy an equally as too expensive or even more expensive for another kid because I seen when they came in class, they had some holes in their shoes, you know, instead of allowing your child to talk about them and you looking at them like, oh, why they got that on? You know, it's like, no. And that's what I felt. And my baby came back home in one piece. And I said, please bring him back in one piece. They brought him back in one piece. You know, there was a situation, we was at a Rite Aid, and somebody was up in there doing something they didn't have no business doing. And somehow the police got called. But not just the police, but the canine. Okay? Now, I have a dog. This tripped me out because it's a dog, my dog I know. That dog I don't know, and that dog, by experience, gets down with the get down with whoever. So I'm yelling at the lady at Friday, don't open the door! No! Don't lock me in here, let me out! I'm trying to get out because they were trying to close the person in, and I'm trying to get out, but yet I don't want to go out because the dog is there. And the officer looking like, why are you screaming like that for? I said the dog, and he was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Move the dog out of the way. But that's what I wish all officers would be like all over the world. All over the world. Our grandfather was racist. He couldn't stand white people, and it was so sad because he would take us to the parades and put us on their car. He'd find a nice, expensive car you could ever find, and put us on top of their roof and let us watch the parade. And they want to ask if the kids get up. I wish somebody would. I wouldn't care if my car cost $200. Let me catch somebody on the roof of my car watching the parade, you know. But and I'm like, no, Grandma, I don't want to go with Grandpa this year. May he rest in peace. But it was sad because people rob themselves out of so much when they're very biased to certain things. And when I say it's okay to have your prejudices against certain things, if that's just you, that's who you are. I don't judge. I'm a non-judgmental person. But primarily, when we're talking about judging people, how can you be the judge? What you eat don't make me poop. So when you know what I mean? Like, when I get up and I eat vegetables, and you can't tell whether or not if I'm eating enough fruits and vegetables and drinking enough water, if I'm hydrated, it's not going to hydrate you. So why does it matter? You know, and so that, so to speak, is like, and then that's another thing, because during the riot, I don't know if you heard me or not, but I said, now what in the world would you do that for? I probably used another word. But I said, now why would you do that? Somebody had through something, and it was like, now what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Why is it that you feel it's okay to throw something at somebody or threaten to beat somebody down because they ask someone a question, and at the end of the day, that's their point and their view. If you had the opportunity to be an officer and protect and serve, and you, as a career, would you choose that? You make a choice to say, I'm going to sell dope. I know with selling dope, I'm going to get caught. I could end up using it and become my best customer. My kids may find it and get a hold of it. My kids will see me living this lifestyle and decide to get a hold of that too. Or you can decide to say, you know what? I'm going to do something different with myself today. And I'm only talking about me and my culture as far as black people. And for those that want to use the excuse as in, I didn't have this growing up, I didn't have that, I had to live like this. That just because, do you know that half these officers out here, especially in Portland, parents did not pay for them to go to Harvard to be Portland police officers? You know what I'm saying? This is not like we in like LA or like, I mean, thank you, Kate, because we are on the map, when they was like, no, we are not going to do that to Oregon because they are not going for it. Oregon, we're trying to ride, but at a certain extent, like, come on now, you got to learn how to use your wisdom, like use your head for more than a hat rack. Would you like somebody to judge you for all the stuff that you done did that you don't talk about? You know what I'm saying? So why judge somebody because they choose to protect and serve? That's like making fun of the smart kid in the classroom and calling them the teacher's pet. Maybe if you would have wanted to have been like that teacher's pet, or maybe let's start from the beginning. What hatched first, the chicken or the egg? Now, here's not what hatched first, but what happened first. Which one was it? I don't know. But I know in this scenario, if there was never a teacher's pet and there was never a bully, half the kids that were teachers' pets wouldn't be trying to show that they're bullies and do half the things like the Columbine shootings and all that stuff that they've done. And half the bullies wouldn't do things like shoot all the black people that they feel like they can because they have the authority to do so and not. But it's a learned behavior. It's something seen, it's sought, and then done. So first they see it, and then they do it. But at some point, if we play out the tape and rewind it to the very beginning of their life, babies aren't born to even identify color. And we're not colored, people of color. It's called melanin. You have eomelanin and pheomelanin. There's only two. And if you break it down, people that are albino don't have any melanin at all. So at that point, what is it to you? Because melanin is not white. Melanin is not black. It's melanin. So we put that name on black and white. White people aren't white. They come in different tones and shades. Black people, I wish you would say, I'm a black woman, yes, but I do not look black. And my father is as black as night, but beautiful. So who am I to say white or black, yellow, green, purple? It doesn't matter. Wow.
Well, I appreciate, man.